It's my first class that I teach it. And I always like a fresh recording every year. Okay, here we go. So this is section 3.2. And it has to do with functions, okay? So the graph of a function is the set of ordered pairs that satisfies the equation. So basically, in order for a graph to be a function, oh, I'm touching my keyboard, I think. There we go. In order for a graph to be a function, okay, draw an arrow right here and write this for me, okay? Just say no x values repeat. If the x values don't repeat, then it's a function, okay? So if you have a graph, you don't actually have to like list all the x's. You just do the vertical line test, okay, to decide if it's a function. So everybody look at 1a, and if you would take your pencil and draw a line like right there. Okay, let's all try to draw it at the same place, and I'll tell you why in a second. Can everyone tell me, is this a function?
No.
It's not a function. So you just write no and you're done. You guys, as far as highlighting goes, please don't get like too stressed out about highlighting, like when do I highlight, when don't I? It's just when you have a whole bunch of work and you need your answer. It's just like boxing. So that didn't require any work. You wouldn't have to highlight it. It's totally fine. Okay. See right here, guys, where the red line hits that V, put a point right there. And that is the ordered pair -1, 3. And then put a dot right here on that point, and that is -1, -3. I just want to show you why the vertical line test works. You guys, look right here. Do you see how this x value and this x value are the same? If it hits 2, the x values will be the same, which means it's not a function because the x's can't repeat. So that's why it works, okay? Okay, everybody look at question B. What if I drew a line like clear out here, my vertical line? Does that graph ever go completely vertical, or does it always have a little bit of a slant? Always has a little bit of slant. So is that a function?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay, so everybody write yes, and that's all you have to do. And then how about question C? Everybody in the room, just tell me, is it a function?
No.
No. That's it. Very, very simple. Okay. Okay, so symmetry. Even odd and just symmetry for now. Okay, so everybody look right here. Here's your y-axis, okay? And look at this parabola. If you take half the parabola and you like painted it with wet paint and then folded it over that red y-axis, the wet paint would hit right on top of the other side, symmetric to the y-axis, folded across, and it looks the same. I want to go to the x-axis now, okay? So we look right here. Here's your x-axis right here. And if this right here, the top or the bottom, whichever one you prefer, is wet paint. Sorry, I'm trying to get it to erase. If this is wet paint right there, and if you fold it across the x, it perfectly lies on top of the other half. That means it's symmetric to the x, okay? Symmetric to the origin, here's the easiest way, I think, to figure out if it's symmetric across the origin. Everybody write reflect x and reflect y. Okay, so everybody just watch right here, okay? Sorry. So here's your x-axis, okay? Take half your graph and fold it across the x-axis. So the yellow would come down there to the pink, okay? And then take that pink and then fold it across the y-axis, which I just put in green, and it lies on top of the other half. That's symmetric across the origin. So you have to go reflect, reflect. It's a double reflection, okay? Look at this. Check out the other way. What if I folded it across the y first? So here's half my graph. If I folded it across the y, it would go there. If I then folded that across the x, it would go here. So it does the same thing. It doesn't matter if you go x and then y or y and then x. Okay? All right. The graph of a function can have one y-intercept. Everybody draw an xy axis. This was a question on a final or a midterm a while ago. I don't think you'll see it, but I'm just interested if you can ask it. true or false, the graph of a function, listen to the question and don't shout it for a second. The graph of a function can have two y-intercepts. Just freeze for a second. True or false, the graph of a function can have two y-intercepts. I'm super visual, so I always draw it. So there's a graph that has two y-intercepts. Now I want you to answer it. Is that true or is that false? It's false. Why would that be false? It's not a function anymore because it just hit two spots on that vertical line right on the y-axis, okay? So I have seen that before. And a function can have a ton of x-intercepts, lots and lots of them, okay? Okay, example 2, use this graph to answer the following questions, okay? Take your pencil and draw an arrow right there to that -3. Everybody in the room tell me, is that -3 an x value or is it a y value? Okay, so it's okay. We're all learning. Totally good. Do you typically see f of x or do you typically see f of y? What's typical? F of x, right? So if it's on the inside, that's an x value. Okay, so maybe above question A, write this down. I want you to write down what they're asking you. Okay, so write this down. On the graph, f of x. Which technically we should label that f of x, so you know what that is. On the graph f of x, comma, if x equals -3, finish the question. Don't answer the question, but finish it. What do they want to know? What is y? Thank you. What is y? That's what they want to know. Okay, so now let's do it. Here's your xy axis. Go to an x value of -3, that would be here, okay? Every point along that line right there, guys, has an x value of -3. Go to the point that's on your graph, that's right there. What's that ordered pair? That would be -3, -3. So the answer to the question is f of -3 is equal to, what is it, everybody? -3. Yeah, that's it. Let's do the next one. Okay, find f of 2. The 2 is an x value. So come over to an x value on the 2. Move up or down until you're on the graph. You didn't have to move at all. It's right there. That ordered pair, you don't have to write it down, but just so you know, the ordered pair is -2, 0. So everybody put in equals. What's it equal to? Talk to me. 0. Yeah, it's not an ordered pair. If you write it as the ordered pair, that should be +2, sorry. If you write that as the ordered pair 2, 0, you will not get credit for it. They're very particular in how you write your answers, so you have to be careful, okay? Okay, for what x value is the function equal to 0? Okay, here are the 3 places that the function's equal to 0. What? Right here, and right here. Now you have to really be careful in this class, guys, and you have to read the questions. So for what x values? They don't want ordered pairs, they want the x values. So everybody go x equals, that would be -2, 0, and 2. That's your answer. Those are the 3 places on the x-axis where it touches it. Okay. Question D, name the x-intercepts. Okay, come over here to the side of D and E, and just hook them together and write a note to yourself that says always x, y. You always have to write those as an ordered pair. If you don't write it as an ordered pair, you guys, they will not give you anything. And I have to grade the same way that they do, okay, because I want to get you ready. So if you look at those 3 dots, those are the x-intercepts. My numbers are going to be the same as up above, but now I'm going to write them as ordered pairs. So this would be -2, 0, 2, 0, and 0, 0. Okay? Name the y-intercept. That's where it hits the y-axis, and that is that point 0, 0. You guys, if 0, 0 is an x-intercept, it's a y-intercept, and vice versa. Okay? Find the domain. Everybody look right here. Domain is x. Okay? Just look and relax for a second. Here's your x-axis. You always have to start small. Where on the x-axis are the values small? To the right or to the left? Left. To the left. So we're going this way. Okay? Now, you take a line and it's perpendicular to the x-axis. So here's a line that goes on forever. Will this line ever touch that graph? Tell me, everybody. No. If I move it this way, it's not going to touch it. So I've got to come like this. And the first place that touches it is a -3. So everybody write a -3. Does it actually touch a -3? Tell me that.
Yes.
It does. So how do I close that? With a bracket. If it didn't touch it, it would be a parenthesis. Okay, everybody look right here and just give me a yes or a no, okay? How about a -2?
Yes.
Everybody in the room, is my hand touching this graph somewhere? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. How about -1?
Yes.
0. Everyone should be talking to me. How about
Yes.
0? 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5.
No.
Okay, so I back it up to a 4 and make it a bracket. Is that correct?
No.
What do I do?
5.
Why don't I back it up to 4?
Because it goes past 4.
Because you're missing all that stuff in the middle, right? Okay, so everybody go 5 with a parenthesis. I know some of this is review for you, and that is okay. Nothing wrong with understanding your math class, right? Okay, here's range. Everybody just sit with me. Range is y. Where are the y small? Up or down? Down. So you always start low. You always have to start small. So I make my line perpendicular to the y. None of these hit it. The smallest y that hits it is a -3. Does it actually touch it?
Yes.
Yes. So you guys do -3. Close with it. Tell me. With a bracket. Talk to me about -2. Does it touch a -2?
Yes.
Yes. -1.
Yes.
0.
Yes.
1.
Yes.
2.
Yes.
3.
Yes.
Yes.
It's either yes or to no.
Yes.
What is it?
Yes.
The answer is yes. It does touch a 3. It doesn't touch it there, but it touches there and all those places. By the way, just so you know, how many places does it touch in between those two places right there? An infinite number of places. Because no matter where it is and where it is, there's always going to be something in between. So it's actually an infinite number of things, okay? Okay, so your range is -3 with a bracket to +3 with a bracket. Okay? All right, moving on. Example 3. Find the domain and range, find the intercepts, and state the symmetry. Okay, here we go with question A. Find the domain. So we go domain colon. Now, listen to this. If they don't tell you how to write it however you want. Interval, inequality, set. I always do interval. They almost always ask for interval, and in my opinion, it's easiest. Okay, go to the left. How far to the left will that graph hit on question A? Everybody talk to me. Infinity, but in the negative direction, right? So it's going to be -infinity, which is always closed with a parenthesis, and then it goes all the way to a, tell me, everybody, -2. Tell me how to close that -2 with a bracket. Now, this is super important. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just being real, okay? Tell me what comes right now. A U. And I'm telling you, if you don't put a U, if everything's perfect and there's no U, they will take everything off of your points. Everything. And I have to grade the way they tell me to grade. I don't agree with it, but I have to do it. Okay? Okay, then you keep going. And what's the next place that it hits it? A 2. Does it actually hit it? Yes, it does. And then how far to the right does it go, everybody? 2 forever. Good. Okay, let's do the range. Range is y. Yes, sir. Everybody freeze for 2 seconds. Yes, sir.
So why would you use the U instead of an upside down U? Because doesn't that mean and?
Yes, it does. And I love your question. And I'm so glad you said it because I'm going to tell you. I've already edited your quiz. I've keyed it. It's ready. And I have 2 notes of things that I feel like I need to talk to you better so that it's a fair quiz. And the upside down is one of the 2 things. So awesome. Okay. Here's why it's not an and. Could an x value be over here and over there? No, you can't be in both places. That's why. Okay. Okay. Good question. So since he let us, I'll do it in a minute. I'll touch on that and thing in a second. Okay. Talk about range. Range is y. You start low. How low does that graph go? Forever, right? -infinity. And then it goes up to a, talk to me everybody, a 0 closed with a bracket. Okay, question B. Here's how you have to do this for credit. You guys look, x-intercept with a colon, y-intercept with a colon. You know that these are going to be ordered pairs. For the x-intercept, you know y is a 0. For the y-intercept, you know x is a 0. Now look at the graph. What are the x-intercepts? There are 2 of them. They are -2, 0 and 2, 0. Make sure you list both of them. Look at the graph. What's the y-intercept, everybody? There is none. Should I leave it blank or should I fill in the word none? Fill in the word none, because if you leave it blank, then I think you skip the problem because you don't know the answer, okay? Yes, honey?
For the x-intercept, could you put plus minus 2?
No, don't do it. They're not going to like it. Yeah, thank you. Okay, question C, state the symmetry. X-axis, y-axis, origin, or none? Somebody tell me. It's y. It's y-axis. Here's why, just so you understand, because I got a little bit of different answers. Look right here. Here's your y-axis. Take half the graph. I choose that half. Fold it across. Lies on top of the other half. Y. Okay? Okay, here we go with question B. Part A. Find the domain. Start to the left. Move to the right. Figure out what's included and what's not. Is the domain everything?
No.
It is not. It's everything finish but 0, right? Now, it doesn't say what form to put it in. If it doesn't say, do it the easiest possible way. That's what I would do. I would say the domain is x can't be 0. That means everything but 0. Everybody look at the range. Range is y. Start low. Move your horizontal line up to the top. Everybody tell me the range. Y can't be 0. It's everything but 0. Good, you guys. Part B, intercepts. You can't just list a bunch of ordered pairs. You have to differentiate the x-intercept from the y-intercept. So if you just list a whole bunch of points and you don't say which is which, you're not going to get credit. You have to be very clear, okay? Everybody tell me the x-intercept. None. And the y-intercept. Also none. Okay, question C, symmetry. Don't shout it. Think it for a second. Okay, let's check X. Look, guys. Here's your x-axis. Here's your wet paint. Fold it across. It does not lie on the other half. It is not X. Now I'm going to test Y. Okay, so, or I did test Y, sorry. Now I'm going to test X. Here's your X. Here's your wet paint. Fold it. Goes right there. So it's not X, it's not Y. So it's either origin or it's neither. Which one is it? It's origin, because now if I take that yellow and I fold it right here across the green, it's going to be on the other half. So my answer is origin. Okay? All right, this is easy. Okay, question 4, and then we're done. Okay, consider the function. Is the point 1, 2 on the graph? Okay. Does anybody have any ideas on how we could do this? Any thoughts? Go ahead, honey. Thank you.
Would you take the ordered pair and put the 1 in for x and have it equal to 2?
Yeah, see if you get a 2. Good, honey. Let's do it. Everybody go, f of 1 is equal to 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 2. And then put an equals right there. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. What's the answer? The answer is no. Now, it's no when you're done. But I want you to understand why it's no. Listen, if I put in a 1, I get a 2/3. How does that prove that 1, 2 is not on there? Bam, that's it. It's got to be a function. The x's can't repeat. So I know 1 2/3 is there, therefore 1, 2 cannot be there. Good, awesome. If x is 2, what is the value of f of x? That's the first question. So it's basically the same thing. Everybody go, f of 2 is equal to 2 plus 1 over 2 plus 2. And you have to show this work on homework, quizzes, tests, everything. And you get 3 over 4. That's your answer. If x is a 2, f of x, f of 2, which is the same thing as y is 3/4. What is the resulting, write the word resulting, point on the graph? What is the resulting point on the graph? Some people will do this. They'll go 0, 1/2. Well, 0, 1/2 is a point on the graph, but was that the result of the first thing I just did? No. Someone tell me the answer right here. 2, 3/4. You're exactly right. That's your second answer. Make sure you box or highlight both of those. Somebody's hand went up.
I was just wondering if you had to write it in ordered pair.
That's the second part. You don't write it as an ordered pair unless it says point. Okay, good question, honey. Okay, if f of x is 2, what is x? Everybody freeze. What's another name for f of x? Tell me. Y. So they want to know if y is 2, what is x? Go into this equation right here, and wherever you see an f of x, put in a 2. So 2 equals x plus 1 over x plus 2. We talked about this briefly on the first day, that the best way to get out of this is to cross multiply. Okay? If you distribute the 2, you get 2x plus 4, and then 1 times x plus 1 is x plus 1. Should I get my x's together first, or should I get my numbers together first? X's. I'm actually going to do them both at the same time, but for sure x's. Okay, so move your x over, it becomes a negative, so you get x. I'm going to put in equals. Move the 4 over to the other side, it becomes a negative, so you have a -3. That's your answer. You don't write it as an ordered pair because they said, what is x? X is -3. Done. Then read the second part. Now they said, what point? That's when you write it as an ordered pair. So that answer would be x is a -3 when y is a, talk to me everybody, when y is a 2. That's it. Okay, question D. What is the domain? We did this. Look at the equation. See if you can answer this question, you guys. How many things do you have to look for when you're trying to determine the domain? How many things were on that list I gave you? 3 things. Fraction with an x on the bottom, even root on the top, even root on the bottom. Which of those scenarios do I have right now? Fraction on the top. You can't, what's the restriction again? The bottom can't be 0, so tell me the restriction. X can't be -2. Did they tell me how to write it? Nope. So I'm going to write it the easiest way possible, which is x cannot be -2. What is the x-intercept or intercepts of the graph? You guys, if you write your answer like this, x equals blah, 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 you will get nothing. Nothing. What do you have? What's wrong with that? It's supposed to be an ordered pair. So I'm going to go right now and put in a 0. Okay. Now, I'm going to let you do x-intercepts in your head. Look. No. Actually, I'm going to let you do y-intercepts in your head, but not x-intercept. So to find an x-intercept, you're going to let y be a 0. Everybody goes 0 equals x plus 1 over x plus 2. So y is a 0. Now I'm going to put a 1 underneath the 0 and I'm going to cross multiply. When I do that, I get x plus 1 equals 0. Pull my 1 over, x equals -1. So my ordered pair is -1, 0, and there is work to show for that, highlighted, and I'm done. The y-intercept is what I'm going to let you do on your, with just in your head. To find the y-intercept, x is a 0. You guys look at the equation. If x is a 0, this goes away and this goes away, and what do I have left? 1/2. That's easy. That's your answer. Okay, we're done. Raise your hand if you're good. If you're like, that was easy, I feel so good about that. Okay, yay.